News you need. News you need is a look at current events and how they affect the college community and beyond. And now here's the host of News You Need, Dr. Ed Simpson.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting edition of the show where we talk to the best human beings in the whole world, which is our USM students. And we have another amazing panel here today. And we hope that this week will not be quite as dark as last week, but I suspect it will be dark and grim and angst-filled, and it'll just be. So stick around for that. But first, let's introduce ourselves, if you would, and tell us who you are, maybe where you're from, what you do. And we're going to talk now. Go ahead, Dr. Yeah, we'll start off with Dr. Hale, our co-host.
I always have to go. I just never prepared for this.
Well, you're always out in the hallway. We dragged
I
you in.
get dragged in. I was having a nice nap this time, and goodness, I'm waking up, and I apologize for that. So I am Dr. Brent Hale. I'm an assistant professor here in media and communication, and I'm excited to be back again to talk about the exciting news we have at the current moment.
My turn? Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie Munoz. I am a part of SM2. I'm an MMJ and an anchor. I'm also a part of the ambassador club here for SOMC, so I'm very happy to be here.
Excellent. We'll talk a little bit about, I want to talk about all your student groups. Okay. So we'll come back to SM2 here in a minute.
Hi, I'm Katie Spray. I am a speech-language pathology major and the current president of the National Student Speech-Language Hearing Association. I also serve with the larger national organization as a student state officer for the state of Mississippi.
Wow. Okay, we'll talk about that. That's exciting.
Gosh, I am impressed by everybody.
I know.
My name is Kobe Belcher. I am a liberal studies major here at USM, along with having a minor in psychology. I'm the president of the Transfer Student Association Club. I'm a part of the psychology club, and I am also a research assistant under Dr. Yao. Shout out Dr. Yao. I emailed her like 50 times, and she got me in. So
wow. Okay. Wow. So yeah, I agree. It's a very impressive group. So. Transfer Student Association. What is that? What are you all up to? What are you doing?
So basically, the Transfer Student Association is just a group of people, mainly transfer students, and we're just basically here to, govern and counsel and help transfer students have like a seamless transition. As a transfer student myself last year, it was I don't even know what the word is. It was very big trying to figure out what all to do, what all USM has to offer as a transfer student and things in the Hattiesburg area. So we're just trying to be like a little safe space for transfer students and other students alike to, come together and just figure out how to move forward.
I think that's just an absolutely fabulous idea. How many folks are in there? How many members you have?
I believe we have about 7.
Okay. Okay. A little on the smaller side, but you're growing, I'm sure.
Small but mighty.
Small but mighty. I love it. And I will say that, transfer students we need you guys because we only have you for 2 years. So getting you, and by the time, the first semester, you're finding where the restroom is and where the best hamburgers are, man. And then, your final semester, everybody's kind of got senioritis. We really actually have you for, if we're lucky, 2 semesters.
That is
actually
so very true.
Yeah, so that's great. So appreciate your service there. Mm-hmm. Tell us about the speech pathology. What is that?
So the National Student Speech-Language Hearing Association is the dominant pre-professional organization for students in the fields of speech-language pathology or audiology. We serve both our student populations. We're working on doing more study groups and things like that. But we also do a lot of fundraising for other local organizations like Team Autism, which is local to our area. They started the first summer camp for adults with autism in the nation, actually, and recently celebrated their 25th year of their summer camp. We also support our speech and hearing clinic that we have on campus. We support the DuBard School, the Children's Center, and just anything that any community that we serve, we attempt to fundraise for and support.
That's great. And you're the president?
I am. I was community service chair last year.
Do you have any help?
I have a very good team this year, actually.
Okay.
They are involved and wonderful and do above and beyond what I could ever hope for.
That's great. Well, I'm getting old and I can't hear as well. So maybe later you can help me out.
Absolutely, we can.
So I'm serious. I don't hear young people as well as I used to.
And students and professors, faculty and staff at USM, I believe it's either extremely reduced cost or even free to go to our speech and hearing clinic on campus. You'll be helped by some of the best graduate students in the area.
So we in the show in about 20 minutes. Are these
Yeah,
open?
just
Can I go straight there?
Yeah, we'll
I
just
think
go right over.
Typically, we're very slow on Fridays, but if you call them, I can give you their number. You could talk to Miss
That's
Michelle and Miss
okay.
Chris.
You
Well,
got an in.
They're great.
There,
Absolutely.
there you go. So we'll get that figured out.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do it for the show.
That sounds fun.
Let's test Ed for the show. How about that? Stephanie, what do you got? What's going on? So SM2, so that is Southern Miss Student Media. It's actually SM squared. So if you have to, by the way, if
It was the
you have to
absolute
explain a logo, you're probably not doing it right. But anyway, SM2, what do you do for them? What are they? What's going on?
So I am a multimedia journalist here at SM2. So basically, I do multimedia like stories and stuff like that. So I recently done a story about active shooting procedures here at USM. So that went on our social media page. It went on YouTube. It went on Facebook. It went on our website, sm2.usm. So I just do stories that I try to impact our student community and even like our regular community. I've written a story about a resource center that they're doing here in Hattiesburg that they're trying to build up for the people who need more resources such as showers, laundry, and stuff like that. So, and then I also do anchor for SMTV. That's our weekly newscast on Thursdays at 10 a.m.
Yep,
So
yep.
it's such a great time there.
I love it. Yeah. So, yeah, there's lots of stuff we could talk about with student media. But speaking of media, talk to me, guys. What are our USM students talking about? What's in the news for our USM students?
Well, recently, shout out Miss Dunn. I love Miss Dunn's class. It's social and digital media. But lately we've been talking about like the psychology of social media. How does it impact us? How does it shape us? It's a very interesting class. We all have a lot of big opinions, but I'm more so for social media and digital media. I think social and digital media is very positive when you let it be positive. Social and digital media convinced me to join a personal trainer, start getting right with my body. Social media and digital media taught me how to have better clothes and how to actually manage my money a little better because I have a slight spending problem. So that's what's going on in my realm of things.
Okay. Is there any? Okay.
I think we're in a similar thing of social media can be good, can be bad, and it really depends on like what you put into it is kind of what you get out of it.
That is so
and
true.
we were talking about this a little bit before the show started, where like watching what you take in terms of media can really affect how you feel on a day-to-day basis, and trying to stay towards more, even with everything going on in the world, obviously it's important to be informed. It's important to know what's going on around us in our world and our community. I'm the first person who will tell you that I am community involved and for my community in every way that I can be. But I cannot serve anybody if I am constantly stressed, constantly overwhelmed, constantly thinking about the next thing that's going to go wrong.
Interesting.
I just can't serve as well. I can't be the best me if I'm constantly focused on this. So I try to focus on ways that I can improve the lives of the people around me, the people that I interface with on a day-to-day basis. I think if I can improve that, then I've done what I need to do.
That's so valid.
Okay.
Are you talking about news?
Yeah, I am actually. So the headlines, anything, issues that our students are talking about, what are you hearing?
So I'm very in the news. I'm always looking at what's going on. I did recently see that Florida banned the vaccine mandate for children.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
was,
we really do need to chat about that. That was on my list. Actually, it's my
crazy.
number one story here. Yeah.
You're welcome.
So there. Well, so let's pause. So now you're obviously in the game. Actually, we're going to take a break here, and we're going to pick up on vaccines or no vaccines on the other side.
T-Bone's Records and Cafe team up to bring you the pick of the litter, a new CD that we both think is significant and worthy of support. When you purchase the pick of the litter at T-Bone's Records and Cafe, you are not only getting a great new CD at a discount, but part of your purchase price goes to WUSM. Support your community radio station and partake in great music at the same time.
Hot dog.
The pick of the litter is the new album from Wolf Alice, The Clearing, featuring the song White Horses. That's the Southern Miss Radio, T-Bone's Records and Cafe pick of the litter. Great music at a discount to help Southern Miss Radio.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Okay, we are back, and I think we hit a little bit of a nerve here with the whole vaccine thing as we were talking through the break. So what do our USM students think about this? Because there's several headlines involving this. So one was the Florida Surgeon General saying, hey, he's going to work to eliminate the mandate for vaccines, which means, yeah, literally all of the 20 or so vaccinations that elementary students, or just before you enter school, you usually have to get, not mandatory anymore. Doesn't mean you can't get them, but it means you don't have to. But there was also the congressional hearing yesterday with RFK Jr. Did you guys catch this?
I didn't catch that.
Oh, our students are shaking their, Dr. Hale.
Oh,
So, Dr. Hale, did you catch any of this on the congressional hearings with RFK Jr.? What do you think?
The specific details, no, but I did hear and saw some things about it that suggest that it went pretty poorly.
It really did. It
Yeah.
did not. It did not elevate the country's discourse whatsoever.
No, it was very angry
Yep.
and
Dark.
pseudoscientific, and yes, very, very difficult.
Yeah, anti-scientific, I would argue, not even pseudo-scientific. So students, tell us, what do you think about this idea of vaccines and the fact we're even debating it in 2025? What do you think?
Honestly, I don't see what is the point of the debate. The same people that are arguing against it are the same people that were getting vaccines while they were younger, and you're the epitome of health. You're fine. And I just don't understand. We want to take away all the good things that can help us and all the things that, can keep us healthy and lively, and we want to introduce all this bad for what?
And I think the larger trend that's growing of this like distrust in scientific procedure and in the scientific method and the way that we rigorously study these things and have for years, the distrust in that's growing is appalling to me, and I think it's just indicative of larger issues across our society as a whole.
Oh, there you go.
Mind you, we have doctors for a reason.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, all of these doctors are they're biased, and they're being taught in order to think a certain way,
How
and
dare
they're
they train the
creating
doctors.
problems. Yeah, but and so why should we follow the scientific method if it's being influenced by all these political mechanisms that underlie it? Why should we follow that? That doesn't seem valid to me. Someone says, not me.
Yeah,
Quote unquote.
yeah.
It's just crazy. I don't understand it. And then it's like, what if another state is going to be like, you know what? We don't have to do that. We're just going to, ban the mandate as well. Like, what if Mississippi does that and then people start getting sick, like getting the stuff that we're trying to.
Yeah, so we know, and this isn't hypothetical. We know because we had an outbreak in Texas of measles. Did you
Oh
guys
my.
catch this?
Yes.
No.
So last year, was it last year or earlier this year? This year.
So,
Hundreds of students, young children got measles. 2 died. And it was indeed within a pocket of folks who had not been vaccinated. Now imagine, of course, that's 2 students or 2 young people dead. Imagine if that's polio.
Oh my.
So what are we doing, country?
I don't know.
I do wonder if Disney gets a polio outbreak, like what are they gonna do? What's the Disney conglomerate how are they gonna deal with this scenario?
You're gonna go crazy.
Well, that might be the only way to solve it.
Because they obviously have a lot of influence in Floridian politics.
yeah, I
they
mean,
are the Florida economy.
Well,
just about.
it's interesting. I'm not sure they do anymore. They,
Really?
well, about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, this Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, went after Disney.
Oh.
Disney has it. Now it's really interesting. Disney has its own governing structure. It's basically its own city. For a lot of different reasons, all going back to the 1950s, and it all has to do with they didn't want to be governed by the state. And so they were putting in enough money that they were carved out from all of these things. And Ron DeSantis, the very far-right Republican governor of Florida, went directly at them and lost.
Oh wow.
He ended up caving in, and they came up with some very uh, sappy compromise where basically they didn't change anything. But yeah, so there you go. I don't know. It's really fascinating. But another headline this week is the states of Washington, Oregon, and California have formed their own health coalition to come up with their own vaccine recommendations because of what's going on at the CDC. So that's yet another headline this week. Have you guys catching that?
No.
I did not catch that.
Yeah.
So this is following a pattern that we've been seeing on the West Coast of these states kind of banding together. They did this for economic purposes, right? You may recall they did that in the response to Trump's tariffs,
Yep.
that sort of thing. So we're having this very bizarre fragmentation of the states into these kind of zones, which is really un-American and very difficult to wrap your head around what's happening. This is a complicated time.
It's, well, what do our students think about this time? Now, so you actually were talking earlier about you don't want to consume a lot of these headlines because it really sends you into a dark place. Is that accurate?
It absolutely is 100%. That I see a difference in myself in a day-to-day based on the media that I consume and what I don't. So I try to be very intentional about what I do consume.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 100% valid. Honestly, we had this talk in Miss Dunn's class, accountability, and just kind of, at some point you do have to stop, and at some point you do have to worry about yourself. And it just piggybacking off of your point, you asked, how do we feel about this? Honestly, if it gets to a point where if the government, direct government or whatever, whoever oversees all of us isn't going to be in our best interest, we have to band together as like our own people and do whatever it takes. At the end of the day, I mean, people have to live. We want to live in a peaceful society, but if our own direct government or whatever isn't going to look out for us, we have to start looking out for each other. So,
Wow.
That's a good point.
I mean, is it how we got
Well, okay,
to
so
this country in the first
here's
place?
my argument. Here's my argument, and I don't think anybody actually does this, but here's my argument. I actually am in the exact same place. I said this on last week's show, that I've been around a long time. I've been in the news. I've done the news reporting, editing, all that kind of stuff. I have read the news for the last 50-some years, and I will tell you this is the first time in my life where I understand somebody saying, I don't want to read the news. First time ever. And here's my pushback. You got to read the news. You just have to. You have to know what's going on. And because the safeguard of democracy, the guardrails of democracy, is each other. The only way to understand which direction we're veering is to look at the news, consume the news, think about the news, talk about it with each other. And what keeps us from falling into the abyss, this is my argument in my rant, Dr. Hale can disagree with me here in a minute. What keeps us from the abyss is action. Right? So the idea of, are you voting? Are you writing a letter to your congressperson? Are you talking to folks about, what did you see this and what do you think about this? Because how do we take care of each other if we don't know that these issues are coming at us, right? And so you said, I think, Stephanie, you were talking about what happens if Mississippi does this? The odds are Mississippi is already thinking about doing this. Because the trend that we've seen with all of these anti-DEI stuff, and we can talk about that if you want, anti-vaccines, all this kind of anti-tax, everything, is Texas does it, Florida does it, and then Mississippi does it.
We're next. I mean, I don't
maybe
know.
Mississippi will. Never mind.
No.
No. I tried to give us some credit.
Unfortunately, Mississippi, we're very red. So we are going to go with more conservative views rather than liberal views and stuff like that. So,
Do you think that that's a good way of thinking about this, as being conservative and liberal? Are those relevant terms?
Okay, that's a really super good question. And I will tell you from my experience, public health was never a political question. Now, was it kind of, I mean, everything involving government is ultimately political. But public health was kind of one of these areas over here where both sides, and there was always Republicans and Democrats, both sides would try to claim to be better at public health. But there was never a debate about whether we should have public health. That's kind of what I've seen now that I can't get my arms around.
That's why I'm asking, because this is an interesting moment where those terms don't seem to be quite as applicable as they once were. Like, even a conservative way of thinking is one where you preserve status quo. That's what conservatism is.
Right, exactly right.
But this isn't that.
No.
This is undoing
Yep.
the status quo and creating a new kind of order of operations. And so, like, that, I don't know that that's actually the right term. So what's the term? I don't know.
I don't
You
know.
tell me.
I don't know. I'm baffled, but baffled and confused and filled with angst and chagrin at what I'm seeing. I just don't really understand what's going on. So this whole vaccine thing actually that we've been talking about is part of this whole flotilla of darkness heading at us as a society involving President Trump. So are our students engaged with this or not? Or is it something that we just want to kind of turn our head and say, they'll tell me what I need to do?
I think definitely I've seen lots of people engaged with it, and I think we're going back to what we've talked about already, where there's I agree with you, there's definitely a balance to strike where it is important to be informed and to know what's going on, like I was saying, but that there's so much misinformation that it's hard to, there's so many articles being published that it's hard to keep track of it, but I definitely have heard lots of conversations about this presidency, this regime, however you want to call it.
Oh yeah, the regime. Well, the regime works. I mean, that's fair.
I will say, just speaking from personal experience, I have heard quite a lot about our dear old President Donald Trump. Like you said, though, there are a lot of articles, and honestly, you have to be well informed. So it is a lot of accountability on people's part to do their research, know what's fact, know what's false. Because as much as I particularly do not like President Donald Trump, I'm not going to say misinformation in favor of making him look bad. I'm going to speak about what he has said, the policies he has corrupted, and etc.
And I think it's very telling that he cannot say anything for about a week, and everybody assumes he's dead.
Okay, so did that come across your feed?
Absolutely, yeah.
It did not mine. Yeah,
Twitter was
it really did not.
I'm flabbergasted
Threads
about
was
that one.
fun.
That
Yeah.
was like,
was
like we were like,
pretty
what happened to him? Where is he at?
I came at, well, okay, so a couple of what I know to be fake sites said something about it, but I just dismissed it as, because the previous week they said a whole bunch of other people had died, so I didn't pay attention.
So this is probably related to something that I wanted to bring up, which was because we talked about kind of social media and the use of that to kind of monitor and see what's going on. This is a conversation that was occurring on social media where they were saying, okay, is he dead? What has happened? But news organizations weren't doing that because there was no reason to report that. That wasn't grounded in reality or in fact, and I think that's very important.
It really is, and and I do want to pick. We're going to take a break, and then I think we should pick up this idea of shaping your social media feed after the break.
The NLS Braille and Talking Book program gives patrons with visual or physical disabilities the freedom to read their way.
If you want to read in electronic braille, you can. If you want to read on your phone, you can. If you want to read in heart print, you can.
Everybody can read the way they want to read using this program.
For more information about the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped Library of Congress, visit loc.gov/thatallmayread.
People do it everywhere.
In the kitchen,
in the bedroom.
Yes, even the park.
When it comes to your health,
there is no wrong place or time
to get an HIV test.
Knowing your HIV status allows you to live your life
and stay healthy.
So pick a spot.
Make HIV testing a part of your routine.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
And be glad you did.
I'm Jamie Presley.
Jay Ellis.
I'm Ray Santiago.
I'm Terrence J.
And I'm
acting against AIDS.
Visit cdc.gov/doing it.
We are back, and as usual, we continue talking through the break about things. So this idea of shaping your social media, I think, is a really super important concept. Dr. Hale, could you give us the 18-second, what is social media at its core? How does it feed you information?
Okay, 18 seconds. Let's see if we can do this. So social media, right, is designed to create a space where you get the type of content that you are ultimately interested in, right? That's what it's designed to do. And algorithmically, what these platforms do is they serve that to you based off of your activity and your browsing behavior. And that's why it's important for news.
Oh,
Did you do it? Did you do it? How did you do it? 18 seconds. Oh my God, very good.
On the nose.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, so basically, at the end of the day, social media gives you more of what it thinks you want. So the idea is this polarization of human beings, as in you're conservative, you're liberal, that they're doing in every other area of society is on steroids on social media.
Oh, yeah.
So the idea is if you like cats, chances are on social media you're never going to see a dog. You won't know a dog exists. If you like Democrats, chances are you're not going to know Republicans exist. That was never the way the media was intended to operate, right? So this is where so my screed is shaping your social media feed so you get all different kinds of information. So do you do that? Do you guys do that? Or do you do it to avoid things as much as you can?
I definitely, as a journalist, I do get both sides of like the parties and stuff like that. I used to get more Democratic media on my TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, but I've never really picked a side and like verbally or like just like mentally. It just always popped up that way on my feed. But now I tend to get more of both sides, like getting more of Fox News and also getting MSNBC on my feeds now.
Okay.
I do try as much as I can for my social media specifically to keep it away from politics. It seems to still come back to it, but when it does come back to it, it does seem mostly Democratic, mostly on that side of things.
Interesting. Okay.
Just speaking on what I was speaking about earlier during the break, another thing in addition to that, algorithms at an all-time high, they're so advanced. Honestly, you know, like you just said, you like a post about cats, all you're going to see is cats. So sometimes it's not even our fault that we're so polarized in information. But like I said earlier, you know, you just got to go out there and look for all that information.
Yep.
Yeah, so one of the things that I know you have taught students about, I have taught students about, is trying to diversify your media diet and trying to, especially when it comes to social media, having different voices that are there so you don't create an echo chamber, because they're designed to do that. They will make that for you. But you have two hurdles right now. One is the algorithm, because you don't have control over that. And it's going to feed you.
And they change it a lot.
And they change it constantly, right? So the algorithm is working against you.
Yep.
And the second thing is the way that our current media ecosystem works, it is so much more fragmented that it's not even always on the same platforms, right? So right now, if you want to get access to specifically like conservative media, they're not necessarily on the platforms that you may already be on. You may need to go to Truth Social. You may need to go to other platforms that just make it harder, right? So let's say, okay, I want to get more conservative stuff, so I go to Truth Social. While I'm over there, I'm not getting any Democratic leaning stuff, right? Because they're so fragmented now. So that's another hurdle, major hurdle.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to just, I'm going to heads up our engineer. We're going to go just a couple of minutes. Is that okay? We're getting a thumbs up. Liam gives us a thumbs up. But there are some major things this week that I think our USM students ought to weigh in on. One is a striking image out of China where you had the Chinese premier, Xi Jinping, standing alongside Vladimir Putin, the president of, is he president? What is he in Russia? Whatever his title is in Russia, and Kim Jong-un from North Korea. Now, what that picture didn't show is the 17 other countries represented in Beijing at a meeting of the Shanghai something corporation. This is China's version of a trade organization. Okay. So what do we think about the new world order where the strongmen in the world, the dictators in the world, saying, hey, we're the rational ones. We're the ones that will let you predict what's going to go on, so come over to our side. And it appears to be working in some degree. Number one, are our students aware of that meeting, number one? And what do we think about a new world order where the focus shifts not to the West in the United States, but to the East in China?
That's scary.
Yeah, I had not really seen that. I never heard of it.
I haven't seen anything about that, but the more you describe it, like you said, that's really scary, honestly.
Because they're very strong countries in general. Russia, China, like they're just very strong. So it's like, who knows what could happen? Like here we go.
Yeah.
We have a very weak image right now.
Yes.
Not the best.
It's really, it is, well, and of course, all three countries now have nuclear weapons.
Even more scary.
But you know what? Honestly, I don't think it would ever get to that point. It'd be like a Cold War, like behind the scenes stuff and all. I sound like a spy thriller person or whatever. But it would be more behind the scenes because at the end of the day, nobody wants to die. Like, everybody wants to rule something. Man's greed will always outweigh all of us dying. So,
I don't think the Cold War ever ended. I think that we're just seeing an extension of that because we have this kind of separation, Western, Eastern, and we've seen a shift in the balance of power.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I think the United States has given it away. I don't think the East has wrestled it from us. I think we've given it away through fighting this cold civil war, is what I would argue. And I'm not even sure how cold it is. It's definitely warmer now than it was 2 years ago. And when you start seeing troops in U.S. cities, so now are our USM students following troops in D.C.? And then what about Chicago? Do we want troops in Chicago?
No. I just feel like we don't need our troops.
Why are
walking in
you
our
against?
city.
Why are you against fighting crime? I don't understand why you're.
Batman.
Why are you in favor of murderers? I don't understand that.
Why is the military doing it and not the police, who are the people who are supposed to be fighting civilian crime?
Yeah.
Counterpoint: why aren't the police doing it? That's what the counterpoint would be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be the counterpoint.
It's just what military personnel would want to go in their own country to go against their own people. We're fighting for our country, not we're fighting our country.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So in one of my classes, there is a young man who's in the National Guard, and Mississippi sent 200 National Guard members, and I still want my media to tell me who's paying for it. My media has yet to tell me who's paying for this, but Mississippi sent 200 National Guard members to D.C. to be part of the patrol group up there. And he said they were given a choice. So this young man in my class said, well, they were given a choice. Do you want to be one of these 200? And he made a purposeful choice to say no for exactly that reason. I don't feel like holding a gun, walking around my fellow citizens.
and that's completely valid. You know, they volunteered to fight for us, not against us. You know, so
really interesting. Okay. All right, Liam, I'm giving you a heads up here. I believe, now anything else, guys, that our students are burning on your hearts to chat about?
I will say, a lot of people that I've been speaking about, they have been talking about like the rise of conservatism and the whole Sydney Sweeney Jean ad and how that links to everything else.
Oh, interesting.
But we might not have time for all that
We probably don't have time. We did talk about Sydney Sweeney. Oh, maybe we didn't. I can't remember if we did.
I think we briefly did
yeah.
talk about it. It wasn't a lengthy conversation.
No.
She has good genes, apparently.
Good genes.
I have good
That's what I hear.
jeans. My
yeah.
jeans are blue.
Yeah,
Whatever
it's
she
just
said.
that's fascinating. So anyway, this has been this has been a production of Southern Miss Student Media, and our producers are Annabelle Laird and Lily Burkhardt. Thank you guys. Our video producer is Ilbella Michal, and our engineer is Liam Keenan. Thank you, everybody, and we will be back next week.
This has been News You Need with Dr. Ed Simpson. News You Need airs Friday afternoon at 12:30 on Southern Miss Radio.